The following podcast is for mature listeners. Although looked at in a light-hearted manner, some content may be graphic and gruesome. Also, due to the host's complete lack of maturity, those easily offended will probably be offended. Hold on to your butts.
I'm already recording, man.
Oh, you're on top of the ball all the time, man.
I'm trying here. You know, I'm
The
dragging.
fucking dog is gonna have to keep it together, though.
Put the dog down. Actually,
he's.
we love
I'm gonna take.
dogs.
Well, I'm gonna have to put him out the pasture here if he keeps it up. Listen, we're here. This episode is coming out. It's out now. You're listening to it, so it's out,
live
which means
live action.
You know, NFL playoffs are underway. The Eagles played the Saints Sunday night, and what a game that was, Jake. I mean, I'll let the people know. I'm an Eagles fan. You're a 49ers fan, which means your team's usually...
I am not a 49ers fan. I am...
Are you off the wagon?
I'm off the wagon. I'm not a professional football fan. I'm a free agent.
You've just checked out completely.
I checked out 2 years ago.
Yeah, well, that's probably good. I mean, the 49ers usually aren't relevant after September, so...
That's awful.
But, as everyone listening knows, on Sunday, the Eagles played the Saints, and what a game it was, Jake. Can you believe... You know, I thought the most interesting part of the game Sunday was... I thought it was when... I mean, I know Drew Brees is old, but I couldn't believe that he retired in the middle of the game. And then Nick Foles had to play steady QB for both teams. It was so weird. I mean, you expect to see that on the street.
The schoolyard all-time QB rules. So it was basically just he somehow amassed 745 yards of passing.
NFL record.
Yeah, NFL record, of course. It was something. It was a sight to behold.
He found a loophole, though. I mean, he definitely cemented his way to the NFC Championship game, where he will be playing Clemson, which I also thought was weird. They scrapped the other game, and they're gonna go Philadelphia Eagles versus Clemson Tigers.
Dabo, he's a savvy coach, so you got to watch out for him.
Yeah,
gonna be a lot of trickeration. It's
gonna be interesting. I can't wait. Hey, Jake.
Yeah, Paul.
February 15th, 1939, in Estherville, Iowa. You know what happened?
Robert Hansen was born.
The beautiful little baby, Robert Hansen, otherwise known as the Butcher Baker.
Oh, you ruined it. No. He's
foreshadowing.
Foreshadowing. Son to a Danish immigrant.
Oh, okay. Yep. A Danish immigrant. His father was a baker by trade.
Yep.
And by all accounts, very abusive towards Robert. He did not seem to get along with his father.
No, they had a very strained relationship, and my man did not really have the best upbringing and was kind of a social outcast, if you will, growing up.
Yeah, so because his father was so abusive, he, went to school hoping to find safe haven, and unfortunately, his face was covered in fucking pimples and pock marks.
Like a lot, not too different from a lot of kids in once puberty hits you like a fucking freight train.
Yeah.
But for him, it hit him a little harder on the psyche level than just the physical level.
Yeah, well, so he was quoted as saying that in high school, his face was essentially one giant pimple. And it didn't help that he had a severe stuttering problem. I don't know if you saw that.
Yes, I did. And, I mean, look, man, me being a heavy kid all my entire life, I can only imagine what it would have been like if I also had a stuttering problem.
Oh, it would be terrible.
Yeah.
It has to be terrible. I'll say this, though. I would have rather, we were both classified as heavyweights, I believe.
Yes.
I will take that over the pimples any day, though.
Yeah. Luckily, praise he, Satan did not grace me with a shit ton of acne growing up. So when I hit puberty, it was just like...
Which could have been disastrous for you.
Could have been. Oh, good God. You know, being a heavy-set, redheaded kid, it could have been...
The deck was stacked already.
Yeah.
I mean,
the cards are already stacked against me, but luckily I made it out all right.
Okay, but for Robert Hansen, there was one place that he could find peace, and that was in the woods by himself.
Yep.
He loved hunting, Jake. He loved to be out there just killing animals.
You gotta think, it's Iowa. What else are you gonna do?
True.
Your dad's a baker, so your dad's not really doing the most masculine of things.
Right. The streets are draped in camouflage.
Exactly. What are you gonna do? You're gonna I don't know. What is there to do in Iowa? Like skip rocks on a pond? Like what can you do for fun? So
I've never been there. I assume it's a lot of racially charged activities.
Yeah, I feel like if it's 2019 here, it's like 1965 in Iowa right now.
That's probably a good rate of change there.
So yeah. So much like you're below the Mason-Dixon line, he probably just took to hunting as like his, like you said, like his safe haven, like his comfort zone, and that's just something that he became, natural at.
Yes. So let's put a pin in that, and we'll come back to it later. How about that?
Put a pin in it. Be right back.
So after high school, he joins the military for 1 year.
Yep. U.S. Army Reserve. Yep.
And I guess doesn't really take to it, so he gets out of that. He finally finds a woman that loves him for his self. She can get past the acne, she can get past the stutter, and in 1960 he gets married.
But what also happens in 1960?
Well, he wasn't quite over the the tumultuous relationship he had with his school years, and he burned down the Pocahontas school district bus garage.
Yo, she probably, wasn't a big fan of the story about Pocahontas. That's all.
No, who is? That movie sucked.
Yo, Mowgli though. No, not Mowgli. What was
Mowgli? No, the raccoon.
Yeah, the raccoon that braided everyone's hair.
I don't remember its name. Lacey, what was the raccoon's name in Pocahontas? Miko. Obviously.
Obviously. We're such buffoons.
Yeah. So he burns down this bus garage, and he makes a key mistake in doing this, and we can't blame him. This is his first dabble into the criminal world.
Just dipping the toes in.
He sticks around and watches it burn to the ground, which usually is not what you want to do as an arsonist.
No. But, I mean, he could have been, like, one of those, like, he finds fire erotic. You know what I mean? It's very much like, you ever seen the movie Orgasmo? It's like, not to sound like a queer or nothing, but I think fire's pretty erotic.
Right. Okay. Yeah, and I read this. I don't know if you saw this, but apparently most serial killers dabble in arson.
Whoa!
Apparently it gives them, it gives them a sense of control. The fact that they can, at a whim, make all these like emergency personnel respond.
That seemed to be like the overarching theme of the rest of his life is the whole control factor.
I would say so. Yeah, there's a little bit of that. So let's see. He burns down the bus depot. He sticks around, watches it burn to the ground, and gets caught.
Yeah, of course. Like any schmuck that commits a crime and sticks around at the scene, you're gonna get pegged for it.
Yeah, he gets charged with arson and serves 2 years in prison. And during this time, his wife divorces him. She's not into the whole relationship through the glass, I guess.
But you also got to think, though, it's early 60s. Women didn't have as many rights as they do now, so like
can't vote,
can't even use the same bathroom.
Can't drive. No,
can't drive. Yeah, they're not even allowed to.
They got to sit on the back of the bus.
Yeah, can't use the same water fountain as men.
Yeah, so
it's just.
What's your point?
No, my point is that women can't be looked at and be like, oh, your husband is this fucking moron who burnt down a school bus. They have to like.
Oh, right, yeah.
It's all
she has to live with that.
Back in the '60s, it was all about image for women.
Yes,
because they couldn't do so much outside of the household. They had to at least be with somebody who represented the family home in an upstanding manner. So
yeah, that's a good point. I didn't even think of that. But yeah, she probably has her fucking housewife friends coming over for bridge, and then she's got to explain why her husband's locked up. She's got to explain why all their kids can't get to school the next day.
Good old Robbie's up in the pen because he tried to burn down his old fucking high school bus garage. Oh.
Yeah, it wasn't great. So he gets out of prison for the arson. He ends up getting arrested a couple more times for petty theft, but then he decides he's turning this shit around, man.
Yo, my man Rob's ready to make them money moves, man.
He's had enough.
Yep.
Of the life of crime. You know what I mean? He doesn't want to end up like Whitey Bulger does.
Whoa,
callback. You like that? He wants to hightail it out of town. And before he does that, he wants to get married again. So he does. In 1963, he gets remarried. And then in 1967, Jake, what does he do?
My man hightails it to the Great White North and heads to fucking Anchorage, Alaska.
That's it. And so at this time, the late 60s, early 70s, a lot of people were moving to Alaska. Alaska was like a hot place to go because they started building the Alaskan pipeline. So there's a lot of work. There's money to be made.
Did not know that. Did not know that.
It was actually a very popular place to take off to at the time. And, in Robert's case, with his interests, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
Hunting, I mean.
Yeah, his hunt, ideal place, nothing but woods, wide open spaces, a lot of places, a lot of wooded areas to go get a bunch of big game.
Yep. Or smaller game.
Or smaller game, whatever your preference may be. But what actually worked out in his favor is that he had a background in baking.
Yeah, because his dad would make him work at the bakery when he was a child.
So it was a good plot point for him to use in his favor once he moved up there.
Yeah, because that's what he did. He got to Alaska and he opened his own bakery. Him and his wife opened a bakery, and he's like we said, he still loved hunting. He actually became known in Anchorage for his hunting,
setting a lot of records. Yeah.
Yeah, he set hunting records. I didn't know there were hunting records.
Like how fast you can kill a deer, or how fast you can skin a deer, or something. I don't know. Like what type of redneck type of shit is in that?
I have no idea. But he set them. He apparently won a ton of trophies from hunting,
a multitude.
And while he was at it, he got his flying license. So he was really getting busy. He's opening the bakery. He's setting world records. He's learning how to fly. And he also go ahead.
Here's what I don't understand, because I don't understand inflation from obviously the 60s till now, but my man must have been killing it in the baking game. Like my man must have been like, yo, move over Pillsbury, because my man got his pilot license and then bought a plane. Bought a fucking plane.
Well, okay, based on what you just said, I'm assuming you didn't find out how he got the money for the plane.
I don't know. I did not.
We'll get to that. I'm going to leave you. We'll get to that later, because that's an interesting story in and of itself. So,
okay.
Right, he gets a plane and he becomes obsessed with. He puts it as righting wrongs. So he hates the fact that girls wouldn't give him any time in high school. He hates the fact that he was bullied in high school and that he was just this little shitburger that nobody wanted to pay any attention to. So. He wants to change that.
Yeah, he apparently often fantasized about cruel revenge on these girls that thought they were too good to talk to him and stuff like that.
Yeah, these fucking stuck-up bitches. But you know what? He did find, and this probably helped that pain, unlike the schoolgirls, prostitutes never say no.
Nope. Nominal fee, baby girl. Go in and get you some.
That's it. So he becomes obsessed with prostitutes and hookers and exotic dancers, strippers.
Or in the Great White North, they refer to them as Eskahos.
That was unbelievable. Was that
off the cuff? It was off the cuff.
Okay, you know what? That's got to be a thing, right?
It's got to be a thing. There's they use 30 different words to describe the word fuck. So
is that true?
No, Eskimo. They use. I know in the Eskimo language they have 30 different words can mean the same thing. So that's just kind of like what I did with that.
All right, can I tell you something? I
Yeah.
just looked up Eskaho on Urban Dictionary, and it is a thing.
Yes!
It's not that thing. It probably should be that thing more than the thing that it is, but an Eskaho, according to Urban Dictionary,
Oh, I
is
can't wait. I can't wait for this.
a girl wearing a short skirt and Ugg boots. We all know these girls.
Oh yeah, good. Just go right on down to UD campus anytime after October through springtime. That's what they're doing.
Yeah, so that look... That's the Eskaho look. And it also says on Urban Dictionary, word of advice, be cautious because Eskahos are likely to carry hepatitis G. I don't know.
Hepatitis, goddamn!
Yeah, right. Okay. Yeah, so he's deep in the Eskaho network, right?
Very intertwined with them.
And the Eskahos love him because he is, by all accounts, he's a nice guy. He's he's the local baker.
Who doesn't love a good baker?
He seems trustworthy. Apparently he had this like trustworthy aura about him. And he also seems wealthy because he's got his own fucking plane. Yeah. And he's got a cabin in the woods that you can only access via plane. Yeah.
Exactly.
So he whisks these women away. He sweeps them off their feet and promises them trips out on his plane to see the Great White North. And when he gets there, he demands that they have sex with him and refuses to pay them.
No, who would have thought that?
Yeah, a little bit of a turn. Things have gotten a lot worse since the arson. He's stepped his game up. So what Robert Hansen liked to do was Robert would, like we said, he'd sweet talk these girls. He'd tell them he's going to give them a ride on the plane, and then when he got them out to these remote places in the middle of fucking nowhere. I mean, you're in the Alaskan wilderness.
You're in fucking Alaska. There's nothing but snow and trees.
He would demand that they have sex with him. If they obliged, right, he would, do the damn thing, and then he would let them go, and he would tell them, listen,
premarital relations.
I'm connected with the police, and if you say a fucking word about this to anybody, I'm coming after you.
Seems legit.
Yeah, and I think also it's kind of tough for prostitutes to go to the police when things don't go their way. You know what I mean?
Here's the thing, man. How down on your luck must you have been to be like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to be a prostitute in Alaska.
Now, listen, I'm sure there's some very nice places in Alaska where you would love to get a prostitute. You know what I mean?
There's only one woman that I can link to Alaska, and that's Sarah Palin. And Sarah
Palin, known prostitute.
Known Republican.
Her and her daughter.
Oh, fuck.
See?
Yep.
No, but think about it this way, Jake. If you were in Alaska, what else is there to do?
I'd just be like, all right, I'm hunting, i.e. what we're talking about, or I'm like fishing, or, like you said, the Alaska pipeline's going on. So yeah, but it's just like, if I'm living anywhere in the continental United States during the 60s, I'm not like, what's a good call? I'm going to go sell my clam for cash up in Alaska.
No, but you're thinking about it from the wrong side of things. They're probably raking it in because once you're done hunting and once you're done fishing,
yeah, that's true. You just go to the local watering hole.
Yeah, they're probably making a killing. Dude.
Yeah, because $20 back then is probably like $200 now. You know what I mean?
Right.
Give me $20. Pick a hole. We're just gonna keep it moving.
Well, listen,
God,
I have some of the rates. A little bit later, and
man,
they were making more than $20, Jake. But speaking of
shit, yeah.
Speaking of making a killing, if these women people went on a plane with Robert Hansen and refused to have sex with him.
Oh man, this is the fucking most G shit I've ever heard in my life.
He would rape and kill them.
Yep. Flat out. But how would he kill him, Paul?
Well,
because my man's gonna get him some regardless whether you say yes or no.
I mean, listen, he had 2 loves in his life, and he brought them together. Yeah. So, but we'll get to that in a second. Let's hold off on that because I do want to say that he's doing the raping, he's doing the killing, but the whole time he's doing it, he is like a devout family man. He's got 2 kids. He's got the wife still. He's like a known, he's a known like great member of the community with his bakery. So he's doing all this shit like on the side. And actually at one point he sent his wife and his kids on like a lavish European vacation just to kind of get them out of his hair for a while so that he could do what you were talking about. He didn't just kill
just
these
a
girls.
real marathon rape and murder spree.
Yeah, so he sends the family out, right? He's getting the prostitutes. He also starts putting ads in a local paper in the singles section of the paper.
Whoa, they had Craigslist missed connections back then?
I think so, yeah. Via the newspaper. So Robert would treat the prostitutes that wouldn't give it up, right? He would treat it like a game. He would tell them that he was going to give them a chance to escape, right? Oh, by the way, he would still rape them, even if they didn't. It would happen anyway.
They're getting stuffed any which way you like. Either you're giving it willingly or you're giving it non-willingly. You know? What I mean?
Yeah. So you can
it's kind of fucked up, but
kind of fucked up.
I mean,
okay. So if you
kind of fucked up.
If you refused to do it for free and you tried to make Robert pay, he would make you pay. He would tell you he was going to give you a chance to escape. Then he would take all of your clothes off, all of their clothes off. He would set them off into the remote Alaskan wilderness, and he would hunt them like wild game, like the most dangerous game, like the book, the most
dangerous game. Let me tell you something. That is a fucking G move. Yes. Like, if you're like, all right, look, you're in my cabin. I flew you here. Let me try to wine you and dine you. You want to have some sex? I'm not going to pay you for it. And then she's like, no, cool.
That part wasn't optional. So
yeah. So here's what's going to happen now. I'm going to beat the shit out of you. I'm gonna rape you.
Check.
And then I'm gonna strip you down naked, and then I'm gonna set you loose, and I'm gonna give you about a 20-second head start, and then I'm coming to get you, bitch.
I think he gave them more than that. He gave them like significant head starts, which also makes it more of a how you say G move because if he doesn't get them right, if he's not as confident as he is with his hunting skills, he's fucked. Because if they manage to get away,
it's a wrap for him.
Yeah. Like, can you imagine any other serial killer just letting their victims go and being like, let's see what you can do? I mean, granted, he was in the middle of nowhere, and it would be pretty tough for them to find someone to. I mean, he probably figured they would die of starvation or hypothermia before.
Hypothermia, yeah.
Right.
What I found pretty interesting, and my man used 2 items to track these women down. He used 2 items to kill them with, I should say.
Yeah. Well, and to track them. I mean, that's all he had.
Standard hunting knife.
Right.
And then a Ruger Mini 14. Like, I believe that was military issue.
And that was it.
That was
and
it.
It was
and
just
his,
like
and his
Bear Grylls.
Keen
goes
sense
extreme
of hunting, and his ability to just track your bitch ass down and shoot you like the animal that you are. Like, what the fuck, dude? Like the animal that you are.
That's not nice. These women were wonderful women.
Oh yeah, I mean, nobody deserves to get hunted down like an animal and murdered. But I mean,
no. Can you imagine? Being a woman?
I'm gonna be real honest, man. If somebody was like,
I've only imagined myself as Robert to this point. Can you imagine being the women in this situation?
Yeah, I would. Like once he stripped me down naked, I'd be like, first off, I'd be like, are you sick to your stomach?
There's thorns out there, dude.
There's thorns.
Got there? Thorns?
Oh, could you imagine just running around with a thorn in the bottom of your foot? I'd be like, just fucking shoot me now.
In your foot. That's the least of your worries.
I know. Oh.
So yeah, right. He gives them the chance to escape. The problem is, if you remember, Robert Hansen is a world record holding hunter.
Expert level.
He always caught them. Every time. He caught them, he found them, he shot them. And this went on for quite a while. This wasn't like once or twice.
Yeah. It's for 12 fucking years.
Yeah. Okay, so over this time, right, bodies do start to come up. People do stumble across these bodies, but Hansen was never a suspect. There was actually never any suspect. When a body is found in Alaska, it's just like, well, I mean, what are you going to do? It's fucking Alaska, maybe a bear.
I can't imagine that the police in Alaska were the most, astute gentlemen or, gentlewomen of the world. You know what I mean?
I feel like we have really low we have a really low expectation of Alaska. Like we're really putting them down.
Yeah, I just.
But this is the '60s. I'm sure Alaska's great
60s.
now. So if you're listening now,
if you're from Alaska, send us an email and tell us that we're fucking idiots and that we're wrong.
And then we'll never talk about it again.
Yeah, I just feel like Alaska at the time was just like the left side of Canada. That's all I could think of. So.
Yeah, well, it is. That's what it is.
Well, it technically is, but like it's just Canadians inhabiting a U.S. state. That's all going to make. Right. Hey, what you talking about? Like that's all.
Right.
I don't.
That was a nice try. Okay, so the murdering continues, the hunting continues, and then our boy slips up a little bit.
My man lost a step. He lost a step.
Let's talk about Cindy Paulson. Okay, I have a breakdown of exactly what went down with Cindy Paulson. I'm not sure what you have. Do you have anything you want to say about Cindy Paulson?
Other than the fact that she was a 17-year-old prostitute.
Yeah, that's rough, man.
And that, obviously Hansen set her out in the wilderness to fend for herself before he came and got her. But this bitch was handcuffed.
Yeah, handcuffed.
Like she wasn't like able to like climb up a tree or something. Like she had her hands cuffed and she had to she booked it while he wasn't paying attention to her.
Yes. So let's take it from the start. So Cindy Paulson, on June 13th, 1983, a truck driver by the name of Robert Yount is, doing his trucking thing, heading down the roads in Alaska, probably looking for some ice roads to truck on.
Ooh.
And he comes across this beaten up, handcuffed 17-year-old girl who's like stumbling out of the woods towards him, right?
Something out of a legit like horror movie.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
So it's Cindy Paulson, and Cindy Paulson claims that she was out doing her prostitution thing, and she's approached by a man named Robert Hansen. Robert Hansen, they start doing a little hassle, a little bargain, and Robert agrees $200 for a blowjob. So
$200 for a blowjob.
Yes.
Jesus Christ, that's like platinum level blowjob. Like.
At the same time, he never intended to pay for this blowjob. This was all,
That's
word
like
of mouth.
$6,000 now.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, if you take that's what I mean. If you take inflation into account, prices were wild. But I don't know. See, here's the thing. I don't know if that was her going rate or if this dude rolled up like $20. Pff, I'll give you $200. Come on, get in the car. Because once she got in the car, he pulled a gun out and said, "I'm not going to pay you.
Yeah,
You're going to do this for free." He takes her to his house. I guess this is one of those times when he had his family out on a extravagant trip. He tortures her, he rapes her, he sexually assaults her, and then he chains her by her neck to a post in his basement and takes a nap on a couch right next to her.
Here's a question. Is there a difference between raping someone and sexually assaulting them?
I feel like I don't really know what the definition of sexually assaulting is.
Obviously, rape is like the worst thing you could do to another person.
Yeah.
But like
when I think sexual assault,
I just feel like
I think he's like maybe like punching her in the tits. And
that's literally what I was gonna say. Like uppercutting her in the boob, like just flick her in the hip. Like you like that?
Flicking her in the butthole. Yeah, you like that?
Oh yeah, I'm doing this against your will, bitch.
That's what I always
just playing the bongos on her butt cheeks or something. Like I'm not even in rhythm.
How do you like that? How do you like that? Chumbawamba. So that's what, honestly, always, when I hear that phrase,
Okay.
that's always what comes to mind. Like,
Okay, I'm glad I'm not alone in that because, yeah.
But I think what it actually is anything other than, like, intercourse.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, like any type of like unwarranted grabbing and stuff like that.
It's like the foreplay to rape.
Yeah, it's like the forcing themselves on without insertion. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Glad we cleared that up.
Yeah, we got that. Take note if anybody's in law school
Yeah.
and they just want to have that. That's the definition legally. So when when this dude wakes up from taking a nap feet away from, like, he chained her by her neck to a fucking post and then took a nap on a couch that was like a couple feet out of her reach.
I feel like there's something like out of like a Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, how calm do you have to be with the situation to be like, oh, I'm gonna go sleep? Like
how
I know,
or how mentally unstable do you have to be to just be like, I just did all this horrible shit to this woman. I'm gonna take a nap, wake up, maybe do some more fucked up shit, and just keep it moving.
Yeah, well, he was going to do some more fucked up shit because when he wakes up, he loads Cindy into his car and tells her that he's going to take her to his cabin, which is accessible only by bush plane. This, by the way, is the cabin where he hunts people. On the way, this is a crazy fucking detail that we're going to talk about again later. This blew my fucking mind, all right? On the way to the airport, this girl, God bless her, has the fucking wherewithal to take her shoes off and hide them under the passenger seat in his car, because she knows that if she gets away,
she can use
she's
that
gonna need
as a link.
Right, she's going to be able to say, I was in this guy's car,
Yep.
I hid my shoes under his fucking back seat.
Dude,
So if you need to find
fucking
it,
savvy move, man.
like proof that she was actually in the car.
Yep.
So they get to the airport, and while Hansen is loading his gear into the cockpit, she fucking makes a break for it. She takes off, I guess into the woods or whatever, handcuffed still. He goes after her, but she's able to get to the main road and flag down this trucker before he finds her. So the trucker, Robert Yant, takes her to a local inn.
Yep.
Once she's at the inn, she makes a phone call to her boyfriend. Well, the trucker, he continues on his way, but he calls the police like, listen, I just dropped this bitch off at the inn. She's all beat up. She's telling me these crazy stories. She's in fucking handcuffs. You might want to go get her. They end up finding her at the motel that her boyfriend is staying at, still in handcuffs, in like a heap, crying. She tells the police everything that I just fucking told you. The police interview Robert Hansen. They never check his fucking car for the shoes. Robert Hansen tells them, she tried to extort me for money.
She's trying to
and
beat
I
you
didn't
for some
want to
cash, and then they're like, "Oh, okay."
And they fucking let him go. They just
see
say,
you later.
Yeah, I'll see you tomorrow. Have my coffee ready at the fucking bakery. And Hansen goes on his way and continues to fucking murder people for sport.
Yep.
That blows my mind, dude. This girl somehow in this, like, that's the last thing I would be thinking. Like, I'm going to escape, and I'm gonna need to prove I was here. So let me fucking plant some evidence.
Like that's
so
like
police
that's
can,
like 5 steps ahead of where you're currently at. Like I couldn't. I would be like, "Well, I shit myself."
yeah, and it all works.
Then
It
now-
all works exactly how you thought it was gonna work. And then the police are just like, "Who? The baker? What?
Man, that guy's
The
like
baker?
he's a loved figure in our community.
Have you had his fucking strudels?
Yo, man, this dude's Danish will knock your dick in the dirt. That just shit's delicious.
Oh, man, not Bobby Baker, dude. Not Bobby Baker.
Get on good old Robbie Hansen.
So, all right. So at this point, right where we're at in the story, the police have found 3 of the bodies. I think one body was stumbled upon by some construction workers.
Yep.
It was found on Eklunta Road. That's some Alaskan bullshit. Eklunta Road.
Eklutna. Yeah.
Eklutna. Yes, that's right. Eklutna. But they weren't able to identify the body, so she's just referred to as Eklutna Annie.
Yeah.
They find the body of Joanna Messina in a gravel pit, and Cheryl Morrow in a shallow grave near a river.
Real quick.
Yeah.
I was looking over the list of all the people that he killed in his 12-year span. There's 17 confirmed names. Their ages range from 16 to 41. So obviously, age was nothing but a number to this guy, much like R. Kelly.
Right. Yeah, he had an R. Kelly situation going on.
I was looking at the names, and the one that stood out the most to me was there was.
Can I guess?
I know.
Please let me guess.
Of course, go ahead. I know you know what it is.
Okay. Well, now listen. Now I have the list, and there are a couple of possibilities. But I'm going to think like Jake on this one. Are you referring to Horseshoe Harriet?
You're damn right I am. Horseshoe Harriet.
Oh, my God. Okay. Yeah, Horseshoe Harriet, who the true identity has never been discovered, it says. We're going to get back to this list because I want to play a little game with this list later. Not really a game, just a stupid thing that we'll just go over it. Yeah, Horseshoe Harriet, man. Actually, it's a link.
Yeah.
On Wikipedia. She has her own page?
Yep.
Horseshoe Harriet.
She was stabbed and shot.
A knife and a gun. Dude.
Yep. There it is. That's
Fits the profile.
That's all he did. Yep.
So, like we said, they found the bodies, but they're not looking too much into it until a guy by the name of Detective Glenn Floth takes the case.
What a name.
Yeah, Glenn Floth. And Glenn Floth, he's the first person to put the puzzle pieces together, and he believes that these 3 bodies are all from the same killer. He believes that it's someone who is adept in hunting and with low self-esteem.
Check.
I don't know how he came to that conclusion, but he then contacts a man by the name of Roy Hazelwood, who works for the FBI, and Roy Hazelwood tells Floth that he's looked into it, and he believes that someone with low self-esteem would most likely keep souvenirs of all these murders.
Oh, yeah.
And he also believes, because somehow Roy Hazelwood is the fucking investigator of all investigators, he believes that the killer might have a stutter. I couldn't find any information on how he came to this fucking conclusion.
That's a serious jump to conclusions, Matt, scenario we have right there.
Do you see the angle that the bullet entered the cranium?
Obviously,
Obviously,
he was touched as a child.
It leads me to believe this man may stutter.
His dad was obviously a Danish immigrant. How did you know?
Yeah. This man knows his pastries. I'll tell you what. I could tell by the way the knife has entered the pelvis. He knows his pastries.
Man makes a sweet apple pie.
Yeah, you could tell by where he left the bodies, the trail he's left us. Apple pies, amazing.
Loves a good crumble. He loves a good crumble.
Have you had this murderous pumpkin rolls?
Oh, don't even talk to me about pumpkin rolls.
Okay, so Floth looks into all the possible suspects who could fit this description, right? Great hunter, low self-esteem, stutters, and has a plane, because remember, these locations where the bodies are being found, most of them are accessible only by bush plane. And this leads him to, one, Robert Hansen.
It's just like, they basically just said, like, all right, so we're going to describe every personality trait of Robert Hansen, and then we're just going to go get him.
Yep.
Like,
yeah.
Has a plane, low self-esteem, loves to hunt. And he can't talk good. He
loves bacon. Baking. And probably bacon.
And loves probably loves bacon as well. I mean, he loves, carnal flesh, but
yeah. So they take all these pieces to this serial killer puzzle. They probably have the big board up on the wall with the strings and the photos, and it leads them to Robert Hansen. And Floth goes, well, Robert Hansen, the local baker, known good guy.
Yeah.
Do we have anything on him?
Local good Samaritan.
And it just so happens he was accused of kidnapping, raping, torturing, chaining a woman to a wall by her neck, then taking a nap, and then trying to load her into a plane to take her to a cabin to hunt her like a fucking wild animal just a couple weeks ago. But we didn't really look into it.
First question was, how long was that nap?
Yes. Yeah.
Well, he took a 2-hour nap. Ooh, you know what? Let's investigate.
Yeah, we got to get on this. So they're able to, using a statement from Cindy Paulson, they go back to the well on this one. They say, you know what, maybe there was something to that. They get with Cindy Paulson.
Maybe we dropped the ball on this one.
She makes a statement against Hansen, and they're able to get a search warrant. Now, when they get to Hansen's place, they issue the search warrant, right? They search the house. They end up finding in the attic newspaper clippings about an array of missing and murdered women. They find a bunch of jewelry, which seemingly belongs to a bunch of victims. They find a crazy amount of guns, many of which weren't licensed. And then they find the proverbial X on the map. They find a map with a bunch of X's behind Hansen's headboard.
How fucking stupid.
Yeah, right. How bold, you know what I mean? Like, how brazen do you have to be? Your wife sleeps in that bed.
The size of the fucking cojones on this dude.
Yeah.
Like, but you know what? I feel like if you're
you gotta know where they're at if you want to go back and play with their bones, I guess. Like, what do you even need to know that for? Like, why do you need to know where they're buried? Why do you need to know where they're buried? Like, why put it on a map that there's easy access to in your murder cabin? Yeah.
Like,
so it's this giant aviation map, and it's got, I believe it was 21 X's on it altogether. And they start pulling out all this shit from the attic, right? And they question Hansen. They're like, why do you have all these newspaper clippings of these fucking women that were brutally murdered, and also their earrings and their necklaces and stuff? And Hansen, did you see this, Jake? Hansen blamed the women.
I mean, you have to understand, like, my man's not in a normal mental state. Like, he's
apparently not.
He's not like, you or I that has a good moral compass for the most part.
Right.
But, like, he's just like, yeah, fuck it. It's all their fault. They're the ones that did this. They did this to themselves.
Yeah, you shouldn't be out there prostituting yourself and then trying to extort me for money. I'm not going to pay you for a blowjob just because you're a hooker who gets paid for blowjobs.
Especially $200.
Yeah.
That's not...
Take your clothes off.
Market price?
Take your clothes off and we're going to play hide and seek. I shoot you if I win.
Exactly. Simple game.
Yeah, so he blames the women at first. Eventually he caves, right?
Like a bitch.
And he confesses every time they pull out one of these souvenirs, right? One of these pieces of jewelry. Every time they pull one out and ask him about it, he confesses to another fucking murder. He's like, oh, yeah, that was the one chick that I picked up and did this for, or that was the girl from over here, or that's the hooker from Route 9. Like, everyone has got a different story
not the hooker from Route 9. Oh, yeah, I was old Horseshoe Harriet.
Yeah, Horseshoe Harriet down there in the fucking, in the boondocks. I got her. So he also ends up admitting that his earliest victims, it became this preying on sex workers thing, but the earlier victims were just young girls ranging from 16 to 19. Just regular girls he'd kidnap off the streets, take them to the fucking wilderness, and do his deed.
That's just probably like just severe mental instability from like all the stuff that happened in high school. And how
you really feel for the guy, you know?
Yeah, you feel for him for about maybe a half a second, then you're like, God damn, you viciously murdered all these fucking people, you piece of shit.
Yeah, like in the worst way possible.
Yeah.
Like not only murdered them, but made them fear for their life.
Yeah, run for their fucking lives and hide in the wilderness, in the freezing wilderness.
So Robert Hansen, he gets in a little bit of trouble. He gets arrested, and he ends up being charged with assault, kidnapping, weapons charges, theft, and insurance fraud. And I went, insurance fraud?
Yeah. That raises a exclamation point there.
Yeah, so apparently, remember those hunting trophies that he won? All those record-setting hunting trophies?
Yes.
Apparently, Robert Hansen reported that they were all stolen. And he had an insurance policy on them.
What a stupid thing to do.
So the insurance company gives him all this money because he had an insurance policy on his hunting trophies.
How much money is a lot of money? It's a fucking...
Well, it must have been a lot because he bought a fucking plane with it.
That's how he got the money to buy the plane.
He got the money for the plane through an insurance fraud scheme that he worked up involving these fucking hunting trophies.
Oh my God. What a fucking buffoon.
And you want to know what he said when he was questioned about it at his trial?
Fuck it. What did
he said that he did do this, that did happen, that the trophies were stolen, but that he later found the trophies in his backyard and forgot to inform the insurance company.
Forgot? What a fucking idiot.
So, that's how he got the plane.
I buried him in the backyard. I buried him in my own backyard.
Yeah.
Throw him in the fucking ocean or something, for God's sakes. You got a plane. Dump him out while you're flying.
I'll tell you what. I know he's good at hiding things.
Ooh.
He could have done a better job than his fucking backyard.
Yeah. He's got his little treasure.
Also,
he could have put him on his fucking treasure map of dead bodies.
Also, I don't think they ever left his basement. This was a fraudulent scheme. So I think he just said that he lost them or that they were stolen. But let's get back to it. So, all these bodies, all these X's on this map. But Robert Hansen is able to land a plea bargain after all of this, right? A plea bargain only once. At first, he denied all this shit, even though they found all this jewelry, and he told the police what murder was associated with what piece of jewelry. He ends up saying that it was all bullshit and denying it until ballistic records match the bullets found in the bodies to his rifle. And then he decides, all right, the jig is up.
Well, you don't just every time you see a piece of jewelry from one of these murder trophies, and they're just like, oh yeah, that's the time I killed, Eklutna Annie or Linda or Lisa or whatever. You kill one of these people, and it's like, nah, I was just fucking with you, man.
I made that up.
Nah, that's just bullshit. But seriously, can I go now?
But Robert, you had a newspaper clipping for the murder of Eklutna Annie. Can you explain that? Why would you have that wrapped around the earring?
I just would have been like, I just really like the news.
Do you like pumpkin rolls? Yeah. Have you had my pumpkin roll?
Oh my God, dude.
I'm going to blow you away.
I have a caramel apple crumble in the oven right now. You really got to have some of it.
Get ready for this.
Yeah. Hope you like
I'm gonna knock you dead. I'm going to knock you dead.
Literally.
Okay, so he lands this plea bargain. In the plea bargain, Hansen agrees that he will confess to 4 of the murders. So
not even a third, not even a quarter.
No, okay, so here's the list, right? And we're going to play a game called Rapid Fire where I'm going to go through this fucking list of people. And I'm just going to shoot them out rapid fire. And I feel like maybe that'll give you the idea of how many fucking people this maniac killed. All right? Here we go.
Hit me with them.
Be on your toes because some of them are pretty good. Lisa Fultrell, Malai Larson, Sue Lana, Tammy Pedersen, Angela Fettern, Teresa Watson, Delynn Sugar Frey, Paula Goulding, Andrea Fish, Outlery, Sherry Morrow, Eklutna Annie, I can't even do it, Joanna Messina, Horseshoe Harriet, Roxanne Eastland, Celia Beth Van Zanten, Megan Emmerich, Mary Thill. So those are the 7. Those are the 17 that...
Going to go out on a limb here and assume that Andrea Fish Altieri didn't bathe often.
Oh, yeah. You know how that nickname comes about, especially in her profession.
Especially in her profession.
So it was a lot of fucking women, and he got charged with 4 of them.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, not even...
The reason we know that it was all those women, by the way, is because Robert Hansen showed the police where all of those women were buried because they had an X on his map that correlated to their fucking corpses. So it's not like...
Yeah, it's not like they were just randomly, correlated, like, or assigned to him. It was just like... He was like, nah, that bitch died here, over by that tree. That bitch died there. It was just like... Yeah, like, it was fucking unreal.
So he gets charged with 4 of the murders. He's also ordered to help them locate the other bodies that I guess he didn't kill. I don't know. And in return, he was allowed to serve his entire term in a federal prison. I don't know if everybody knows this, but federal prisons are a lot nicer than state prisons because most people in federal prisons are in there for like money laundering or tax evasion,
all the high profile shit, all the white collar crime.
Right, state prisons where the murderers and rapists and
child
fucking
touchers and shit go.
Arson, right.
That's where you just like, it's Tuesday. Sure, hope I don't get stabbed today.
Yeah,
like it's
So he's allowed to serve his term in a federal prison, and also I found this strange. Part of the plea bargain, there would be no publicity or press surrounding the case. How is that even? I mean, how does that not leak?
You also got to think at the time of this case, it was 83, 84.
That's true. There's no Twitter.
There's no social media.
There's no internet. There's nothing.
No, like, people aren't taking pictures with their camera phones and shit like that.
Right. There's the local Anchorage newspaper.
Yeah, which is literally, I could just picture like an Eskimo with a pike in his hand talking about local fishing reports.
Right. Yeah, so Hansen ends up leading the police to 17 bodies. 12 of them were unidentified. So 12 of the 17 bodies were like, oh, you didn't know about this chick? She's dead too. I killed her. Here she is. I'm not going to get charged for this? All right, cool.
That's cool.
Yeah. There were actually 21 X's on the aviation map, but Hansen refused to give up the locations associated with 4 of the X's. So, I mean, that's weird.
Yeah, that might have been some, like, I mean, my man's already done some dicey shit, but that might have been, like, some real, like, that might have been, like, some, I hope to God.
What's he worried
like,
about?
Kids.
What's he worried about? His reputation? Like,
yeah. Like, I don't want to
show you them. I feel like you'll think less of me.
Yeah.
I don't want you to think I'm a crazy person.
Yeah, I don't want you to think I'm like a pedophile or, God forbid, it was like animals, like actual dogs or something.
Yo, you thought 16 was young.
Yeah, oh, fuck.
So, Robert Hansen is sentenced to only 461 years in prison plus life with no possibility of parole. I feel like the plus life is a little bit of overkill.
He had a shot at making it out.
461. Yeah. I mean, with modern science in this climate, you know.
He could have just froze himself and preserved his body.
Is that what I meant by climate?
Yeah.
I meant like, I don't know what I meant.
I don't know
this political atmosphere, Jake.
Political atmosphere.
This scientific world that we're living in. Yes, that's pretty much all I have.
Yeah, but I don't understand how they didn't just throw the death penalty at him and be done with it. Like lethal injection, done.
That's a very good point. I mean, why is this guy...
Dude, in Texas, if you jaywalk, they're like, I'm gonna fucking fry you.
Yeah, you're getting
the chair, buddy.
No, you're getting burned at the stake.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It's like in Anchorage, they're like, oh, we'll just give them, 4 centuries of. Oh, cool. You guys will check me out in the year 2400, right? I'll be good, right?
Can you imagine how much money the taxpayers would have to pay to keep a guy in prison for 461 years plus life? What's life? Like another 60?
I think it's 20.
What?
I think a life term is only 20 years.
Get the fuck out of here. Who lives 20 years? What is this, fucking 1641?
Dude, that's what I'm saying. I think a life term is 20 years. I don't quote me. I'm just saying I think that's what it is.
Well, I'm not going to look it up, so that's what we're going with. So if you wanted to learn something on this podcast,
it's either 20 or 40. One of the two. But
40 seems more reasonable. I mean, by the time you're going to commit a crime, you're probably already like 20, 30. Add 40 to that. Yeah, you're pushing it, especially in prison. I'm sure the life expectancy.
But I mean, it doesn't matter.
Down.
My man didn't even last 30 years in prison.
Yeah, he died in 2014.
Yeah, he died
at 75.
Yep.
Poor fuck.
But I think what's cool, I guess if we're going to take anything on any positive spin off of this, is that there's been 2 movies that have been made after the happenings of the Robert Hansen and Cindy Paulson experience. It was Frozen Ground with John Cusack
I was gonna say, did you see that movie?
I did not, but I've seen.
I haven't
the trailer.
either. I didn't know it existed.
I've seen the trailer for it. It's got John Cusack and I think Vanessa Hudgens, and then Naked Fear as well.
Well, and hold on, it also has Nicolas Cage, who plays
Nick Cage,
a character based on Glenn Floth.
Gotta love that Glenn Floth.
Yeah.
What a name.
This sounds like a good movie. John Cusack, Nicolas Cage, Vanessa Hudgens.
John Cusack as Robert Hansen.
Yeah.
The founding father of the pop group Hanson.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, most people don't know that.
Yeah,
he had 3 sons. His 3 sons all became Mbop.
Could you imagine being his kid, like growing up in like the 70s or 80s and just being like, yeah, that's my dad, the guy who used to hunt women in the wild and fucking shoot and murder them.
I'll tell you what, Thanksgiving was good. I mean, we had a hell of a dessert spread, but the rest of the year was tough.
Didn't really want to touch the roast that he would make.
Yeah. Oh, come to think of it, I ate a lot of mincemeat pie.
Oh, that's gross.
All right, but that's all I have on Robert Hansen. I don't know. That's probably all you have too, because this is the end of the story, and we just said he died. So the podcast is over. Goodbye. That's not how we do it, is it?
No, it's not.
Oh shit. Yeah, we are on Instagram.
Yeah, we're on Instagram. We're on YouTube. We're on Instagram at the Depthscast. Paul's on Instagram at Breeding Nuclear. I'm Jake Lotz. Like I said before, we're on YouTube. We're on Spotify. We're on the Apple Podcast app. We have an email address. What is it? The Depthscast at gmail.com.
The Depths Podcast at gmail.com.
Yeah,
hit us up.
Yeah, hit us up with, thoughts, comments, reviews. Like and subscribe. Hit us with 5 stars. Do all that cool shit, and we'll be your friend for life. And we won't hunt you down in the fucking wilderness like the pig that you are. Sorry.
We do know, right, exactly. We do know where you live. When you listen to an episode, we get all your personal information, social security, birth date, mother's maiden name. So we do have the ability to do anything we want, but we won't as long as you subscribe and give us 5 stars.
Exactly.
And that's not a threat. We love you. We would never do that. And it's all bullshit. We don't really have that information.
Yeah, none of us do.
I started second guessing myself halfway through that whole thing, and then I decided maybe I should make it clear that was all a joke.
Good
100%.
That was a good call.
Joke. Yeah. But we will hunt you down. So
we will definitely hunt you down via social media.
And yeah, and like your stuff.
That's right.
Posts.
Like us back.